So we've got the miniatures, and we have here all of the bases that are painted, keeping them in the right order to make sure it's easier for me to remember which base goes which one. So for instance here, this base was on the far right on the bottom side, so I know that this base goes with this miniature and it should fit there nicely. I'll be ready to glue that in just a moment, but before I glue it, I really want to make it look awesome. In other words, I want to make it paint it so that the base of the miniature looks really cool. The way I've decided that I want to paint these is that I'm going to use Basilicon Gray, which Basilicon Gray is a contrast paint, and it's going to get in there and get down into the bottoms and make it dark. Then after I finished with that, I plan on using some metallic paint. Notice again it's upside down because that's the best way I think to store it. And I'll probably also put a little bit of this on to make it look rusty as well. So I have some metallic and rust that I will brush on to each of them. I'll go through and paint all of them first with the gray, and then I'll go back through and do the others. So let's take a moment and see what this looks like. Shake up the gray, shake it up. I say that a lot, but I say that a lot in real life too, so that's not very surprising to me. I'm going to take this and get a bunch of the gray on there. I'm going to grab a hold of it, and we'll start just throwing around that gray right on there. Should give me some really good contrast, since it is a contrast paint. So I should be getting a bunch of contrast on there. Going deep down in there to dip to get a bunch more. Coming across the sides. It's okay to get down into where the foot's going to be. It's not necessary, but it's okay. And get a little bit more on there. On the edges, let it seep in. And then I'll just let this one sit for a moment or two.
Now, one of the things I learned quickly after this was that it's not necessary to paint these as I'm painting them if I had primed them in black. So from now on, I prime these in black after I create them, put the impressions on them, then I prime them in black. That way I only have to go back over them with metallic paint, which saved me an awful lot of time. However, these do look good, but I would also say that the paint for the primer is a whole lot less expensive than working with the contrast color paints here as well. So it's a time saver and a money saver as well. But here we go. I'm quickly painting on there. If only it was actually that fast when I'm actually doing it. Oh, gotta shake it up. Shake it up. Yeah, I said it in the video too. Fast, slow. No matter how I'm doing it, I'm probably going to say that again and again. But that's just the beauty of watching this paint. So painting them up, shaking them up again, and we're getting ready to almost be hand it back off to myself, which is kind of weird knowing that I'm talking to myself, even though I'm talking to myself, if that made any sense whatsoever. Anyway, here we go. We're finishing up on this paint one. I believe we have just one left here. Getting it painted up, checking on the outside. Once we get this up, then we're going to start putting some metallic paint on it. And the metallic paint, again, is just apple barrel kind of metallic paint from Walmart. But it really does well as long as you store it upside down. All right, well, I'm going to hand it back off to myself. Enjoy.
So as you can see now, we've finished off with putting those together. I'm going to touch in there. I didn't paint the inside of that one guy's foot. Right there, we have these all ready to go. All right, here we go. We're going to be dry brushing some metal onto these bases right now. The metal I'm going to start with, I'm thinking, is going to be a sterling silver. I think this sterling silver will be a good contrast to the darker color there that we have. So I'm going to put some sterling silver here. Whoa, that ran out kind of quickly. I don't know if you can see that on the film there. I'm going to put some on my brush, and I'm going to brush it down so there's not quite as much there. And then I'm going to start putting some sterling silver all over the base. Hopefully this will make it look a lot more metallic. I don't want to completely paint it metallic. I just want those highlights to be there so that we also get the bottom of it still has those crevices there. Trying on this one at least to make it look like it's some metal that has just some scrap metal that's sitting all around.
So as you can see here, we're going to put a lot of scrap metal on, well, everything. This makes it look metallic. The dry brushing, not airbrushing, but the dry brushing does a really nice layer over the top. It's kind of interesting to think about how much time you're spending on something they're just walking on. You don't think that much time about the floor, unless, of course, you're laying tile or putting other sorts of flooring down. Then you really do think about it. But for the most part, we just walk right over things. Don't think about our shoes as much. Don't think, well, that's not true. A lot of people think about their shoes quite a bit. But in this case, the flooring itself or the base becomes extremely important because it adds to the miniature, giving it some life to it, giving it some realism. I mean, as realistic as you can get orcs with guns, but wow, orcs with guns! I get excited about that every time. Actually, I don't think I want a lot of realism with that because I don't know that I really want a lot of orcs with guns running around. Well, enough about orcs with guns and running around. I'm going to hand it back off to myself.
Now, all that looks really, really nice, but these are orcs. They're probably not walking around in the nicest of neighborhoods. So, I'm going to try to make a little bit there of, with some of this antique copper. We're going to try to see if we can make it look a little rusty as well. So I'm going to put a little antique copper right here. I'm not going to put as much of this on any one of the things. I just washed off my brush as well. So I'm kind of drying it out with my hand. I'm going to get the brushes dry. And then start dipping it in here a little bit and try to get off a lot of it. And let's see if I put a little bit of rust in there. Oh, yeah, the rust. You can really see the rust coming across. I like that a lot. Hopefully you can see it in the light right there as it shines off. I think this is going to look really good.
So now we're really just rusting stuff up. That's right, rusting stuff up. A lot of times people want to get rust off stuff. We're actually putting rust on. The rust makes it look rustic. Bad pun. Anyway, a pun only an orc could enjoy. Put it on there, especially those ones that have the aluminum foil that created them. They have all these nice little ridges and stuff to just tap on the edge of it, just like rust would appear in a graveyard, in a junkyard. So you want to have it all over the place, ready to give tetanus in all different areas. So let's paint some more on, and then we'll pass this off to myself again.
And the very last one. You can see the back of it, still the same things we used before. Brushing on a little bit of the paint. And there we go, the metallic is covered. And on the side there. And right there we have them all. And we're ready to start gluing.